Normally, I'm talking to you on the balcony overlooking the
That's
Steve
right.
Jobs Theater after these events, but all of this happening virtually now, including the event itself. Given the time we are in, we're in the middle of a pandemic, obviously a recession, but a new range of iPhones packed with new technology. How big do you think the super cycle is going to be?
It's interesting, right? If you look at everything that comes with the new devices, they kind of have a perfect storm. They have a new design, including colors and form factor. They have a new technology and a stronger camera, which is still one of the biggest selling points for smartphone across the board. And yet we are in an economic downturn, but also I think from a consumer perspective, there's just uncertainty across the board, especially in the US. And so it's really hard to judge. Clearly, the carriers are really hungry to get people on 5G. And so we've seen some of the bundles and the aggressive price this morning during the event with Verizon. Others will follow. Hard to call it, but they have a lot of the things that consumers are interested in. The question is, where is my money going? And I think that the other part for Apple is that they have more products this year than they had in previous years as well, as far as where they want consumers to spend money. We're still waiting for the Max as well this year.
Right. Exactly. Waiting potentially for new Macs with that Apple designed chips. As you alluded to, 4 new iPhones, which is, I believe, more than they've ever unveiled at one time. Also the iPhone 12 mini, which is sort of between the iPhone SE and the current iPhone 11 in size. How does this larger family now impact consumer choice?
I think you have the strong new portfolio with 5G, but as you were discussing with Mark earlier, not everybody is ready for 5G, both from a consumer perspective and from a market perspective. 5G is not rolled out everywhere in the same way. And so Apple keeping the SE, the 11 and the 10R in the lineup is offering choice. And I think that that's what matters is giving the opportunity to consumers to get the price point that is right for them, but knowing also that through the software upgrade, they're not getting a compromised experience, if you like.
So let's talk a little bit about the camera technology. Obviously, the camera, or in this case, cameras, because there are multiple cameras on these new phones, are one of the main reasons people buy an iPhone at all. The new camera technology enables you to take better pictures in lower light. They were also playing up camera and video features for pros. How big of a driver do you think that will be?
It is always a big driver. What has been interesting this year, though, is that Apple is returned to a differentiated approach for the Pro family. And so some of the features that are linked to both still camera and video are only delivered on the Max, on the biggest form factor, which is interesting because, not everybody wants the larger form factor, and we're returning to where the iPhone 6 Plus was, where, if you wanted the latest technology, you had to go for the bigger form factor. I think Apple is playing a little bit with, pro features. How much are people willing to give up, a DSLR experience for a phone versus the people that think that's just too much for them? And I think that's the balance, right? Is trying to find enough feature set for the camera that makes my shot better, not necessarily taking a picture more complicated, but where is that line that blurs when, as a pro, I want a real camera versus a phone?
Now, what about the new HOMEPOD mini speaker? Apple, the HOMEPOD certainly hasn't taken huge market share in smart speakers, but it certainly could. There are new capabilities in terms of integrating with your iPhone and sensing your iPhone when it's close enough. Do you think that this will, could be the product upgrade that it needs to take off?
I think the price point is super aggressive. $99 is definitely something that is going to give people a reason to at least check it out. I think that if the quality of the sound stays with, in parity with the original HomePod or close to it, it is definitely a great experience. I think that Apple is being quite interestingly pointing at the value of the connected home and your smart home being in the iPhone, and then the iPhone connecting smartly to other devices within your home, and HomePod Mini being one of those. Even how they talked about the sound around your television, or the new intercom that allows you to play a message even from your car through CarPlay to both the HomePod Mini, but also AirPods. It's quite fascinating how the different approach that Apple has compared, say, to an Amazon, where you don't have a phone, to home Alexa as such. And Apple is putting all the strength that they have in the product that they sell most and best, which is the iPhone.
Now, it seems like a footnote, but another big change is that Apple is not going to be including headphones and power chargers in the box anymore. And the phone is, it's a pricey phone.
Yes.
Tim Cook sold it as an environmental, that there's an environmental motivation for this. I'm sure it does bring down that base cost of the phone as well. But what do you make of it?
Consumers are never happy when you take something away from them and you don't give them, a discount or something that they can point at as like, okay, I get this. But the reality is that a lot of people are upgrading from a previous iPhone or might have an iPad already in the home. So the charger is something that you already have. And so that shouldn't really be a problem. And as far as the headset, both a combination of AirPods success together with people that prefer an over-the-ear headset, I really don't see a lot of people using the out-of-the-box headset. So I think it's more a perception issue, but not necessarily a real point of contention with consumers.